Congratulations! You are at the right place at the right time to start your day with a lightning bolt of energy. Most news programming, morning talk shows, or other podcasts are not launching you into your day or accessing even a fraction of your greatness and potential. If you want more money in less time with more magic, and if you want to find what works to scale your sales and business with the actionable formula of formulas, then the Unblinded Huddle is the #1 way to start your day with an infusion of integrity-based human influence. With your host, Sean Callagy and the Unblinded team, and the entire Unblinded movement.
What is present for me is we got a nice kickoff song here. We have a new co-host this week, so that's exciting.
Good morning, guys. Jared, not hearing you. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello, hello? Can you hear me?
What, Ty?
Can you hear me?
All right. Sorry, guys. I wasn't sure if it's 100% that you guys can hear me. Okay, so good morning. Ecosystem Merger, Mastery Monday. I am Sean Callagy. We're here with the Unblinded Huddle. And what is present for me is that this is the place to come to each and every morning for people to most appropriately understand how to create more money in less time with more magic. And what that means specifically is that there is things that we don't see. And so what I have, many of you know, or some of you don't, I have a 125-person law firm. And this is something that through the formula that we talk about here each and every day, I built starting 22 years ago, 23 years ago, that most people saw as an utter impossibility. And they saw it as an impossibility because I was selling one of the most difficult things in the world to sell, which is myself as a 27-year-old attorney. When I looked 19, and the default no was rooted in the reality that for you to have an attorney, they needed to look much older, be somebody that had more years of experience, and they had all the wrong buying criteria. They had all things that were emotionally driven, not logically based. So at Unblinded, what we're here to support globally, the happiness, the heart level, is to help people see things differently, to think differently, and not to think differently in a kumbaya, let's skip through the garden and feel great way only. We certainly want people doing that. Like more love, more fun, more adventure, more passion. And also though, if you do want more money in less time and still want to have all those things and feel great about ourselves, there's a mechanism of thinking that just isn't taught out there. I had the privilege of going to Columbia University, Ivy League undergrad, law school graduate. For those that have been around, you understand that. I didn't know anything about this. And you go, okay, I get it. You know, I understand affiliate marketing. I understand networking. I'm a great networker, great affiliate marketer. And I'm sure you are. And you unquestionably understand and know part of the formula. At the same time, if you're listening here, it's because you do want more. You want some version of more money in less time with more magic, some combination of those things. And the access to those things is often unlearning parts of the things that we know, like parts, elements, dynamics of those things to help us create more acceleration. And so I ask questions to myself all the time, like, what if everything I believe is only 10% of what's optimal in mastery? So what if my understanding of what marketing is limiting me from accessing 1,000 times my potential, 10 times my potential, doubling my income so I can contribute more, have more, do more to make the world an even greater place? What if I believe that the way I'm running these huddles is optimal? Or what if I believe that there's ways to make this 1,000 times more optimal? And every day, a part of my thinking is how to make that a reality and to find a mechanism and a process to make it all simplified and easy. Now, where things get interesting and weird is that if we have too much of that in our thinking, we become overwhelmed, right? And if we have not enough of that, we become like delusional and are running around thinking the world functions and operates in a way that is completely different than how it functions and operates. So that's what we're doing in the huddle. And for today, I want to begin to lay the framework of why we're moving into the Unblinded Business Accelerator and how it's not a funnel, it's not affiliate marketing, it's something that you haven't seen before. And so if somebody hasn't seen something before, then it's extremely challenging to get people nearly as excited as they should be or can be. And if you're trying to do it in a way that you maintain the interest of people for a 30-minute huddle, like get their day started, have a light, quick inspiration, motivation, focus, and balance all those things, there's challenges. So that's why we're creating a 6-week Unblinded Business Accelerator. And you go, and if you're new to this, you're listening, okay, I get it. Like I hear this all the time. Everywhere we go, it's a funnel. It's people gathering so that people can sell stuff. And it's some complex method to sell. And the answer is yes, this is a complex method for us to sell and grow unblinded. That's not different. What is different is that when you're in a funnel, when you're in an affiliate marketing dynamic, there's no optics on how you do two things. You build the value of your own personal ecosystem overall. Like you have it, you carry it, you're present to it. It's not a taking, it's a mutual benefit. And second, how if you have a primary business, you simultaneously grow your primary business. These are the things that we're disrupting and solving for in Unblinded. And the combination of the huddles, our programs, the real raw role play, and the Unblinded Business Accelerator is the optimal dynamic for making all those things work. In highlight neon, right? Highlight, like top shelf, the real raw role play, we are putting the flag in the ground as the greatest hack in the history of marketing, in the history of sales, in the history of networking, in the history of personal development, in the history of having fun doing all of it. Like that's a gigantic claim to put a flag in the ground around. And we're putting that flag in the ground because, and I'll get into detail, because it's noisy out there. And if you look at the things that Grant Cardone just did, and when people do things that are out of integrity and then rationalize and justify them, is when they've run out of answers and they've come to the end of their own thinking. Chris Crone did an incredible video challenging Grant Cardone's actions and saying that he's lost his respect for Grant Cardone, okay? And I love Chris, I love the video, it's fantastic. What I'm looking to share is that is a super analytical dynamic of actions like that, to say that people are running out of ideas on how to get attention. It's become more costly in money, time, and energy than ever before to have our messages heard, accepted, and acted upon. Like more complex than ever before. And so I like solving for complex problems and challenges. And if you look at the emergence of Unblinded and where we are in the incredibly short duration we've been in existence, and I'll even drop this, we only began 4 weeks ago having collective innovation sessions amongst our leadership of the company of Unblinded. And in 4 weeks, after putting 1,600 people in a room in January, and that was a nice, unique identity marker, but that was, which certainly exemplified some of what we're talking about, but I will attribute that to incredible self-mastery sheer will, influence mastery skill sets, and a little bit of process mastery. Where we are today, after the last 4 weeks, is having created the most incredible process mastery distinctions to create massive acceleration that benefits everybody involved. So, simply put, your messages rise above the noise and are heard by other people. Okay? A little bit more clarity. The way that people make decisions is it takes time to go from hello to yes. Our default no exists in everything that we do. Whether your friend convinces you to go to see a movie that they like, watch a Netflix series, to quarantine and Corona. Some people are still partying, hanging out in Florida. It took time to get people to be influenced into place on a continuum that involves these factors. Where's your influence mastery skill set? 1. 2, how much time duration does somebody normally perceive needs to elapse before they say yes to the thing you're talking about? It's a lot less time for somebody to say yes, typically to marry you, right? Or you to marry them, than it is to decide to go try a quick YouTube video. It's a lot more time to decide to buy a franchise and invest $100,000 or $1 million than it is to decide to try a free program you sign up for, like the Huddle, okay? So there's a continuum of time related to the thing. And finally, there's also the number of touches. So it's influence, skill set, time, touches. And in marketing, which is the ability to have us hear a message and get to a place of saying yes or no to a sale, that's how we define marketing, those are the variables you're solving for. How much time, energy, and money does it take in light of my influence skill set, right, to have the touches it needs to go from hello to yes with integrity? That's what we're solving for. And the solution around that, the acceleration around that, the hack has been like websites, networking, videos. And we saying, okay, I got to shoot videos. I have to have a website. I need to network. I got to build, my contacts. And what we're sharing is the real raw role play, the Unblinded Business Accelerator, and what we're doing here with Unblinded are the disruptions to make all of that go exponentially faster by controlling certain levers and rising your mastery. And that's what I'm present to on this ecosystem merger Monday. But here's what I'm most present to. I am most present to the reality that some of you have no idea what I'm talking about. Some of you don't feel like listening to anything I'm saying and would rather be hearing me play rocky music and encourage you to aspirationally feel better and manifest more in your life. That some of you are saying, I don't want to do any of that. I want somebody to do it for me. And all of those things are present, and I have no judgment or blame about that. None. What I am solving for is that how do I communicate most effectively that what we're talking about solves for all of those challenges and the reasons why, very understandably and with complete empathy, I get that those are your defaults, some of you. And some of you are saying, great, just tell me what to do. Specifically, I'm with you. And we're solving for that with the Unblinded Business Accelerator, which is beginning shortly. So that is what I'm present to when I wake up this morning, because I am not doing Unblinded, and we are not doing Unblinded, so I can make some money from coaching, right? In fact, I'm not coaching anybody, and I'm not making any money yet, okay? I could very easily, but that's not what we're doing here. We're building a model where it's exactly what we said. Influencers are influencing influencers to merge ecosystems for a lot more to make together than separate to make the world an even greater place. That's what we're solving for. And we're encouraging you to join us as you're on the huddle, but regularly, daily, consistently, not to help us, but we can't support you, co-create with you, help you without you understanding what we're talking about. And that's why you're signing up for the Unblinded Business Accelerator is so utterly critical. And we have your contact information right through the huddle. So it's not for more contact information. But the second part is that you can't accelerate unless people have some idea of who you are and what you're doing. They can't accelerate without that. So the way we are we to you is how you need to be to your group of 10, 50, 100. So you have people who think like you do and are supporting solving for the acceleration of their own business through working with you and Unblinded. And you go, wait, this is network marketing? No, it's not network marketing at all, right? And there's nothing wrong with network marketing. It's an amazing tool when optimally and ethically done. That's not what this is. This is how we work together, partner, and create massive acceleration. And it's not anything you've seen before, but it is solving for the challenge of how to get people to listen, say yes, and merge ecosystems. Said differently, the Unblinded Business Accelerator is your ecosystem value accelerator. That's what it is your ecosystem value accelerator. You go, wait, it also helps the Unblinded ecosystem accelerate. It absolutely does. Yeah, of course it does. Because there's symbiotic ecosystemness, like ecosystemness. We're supporting one another and growing and accelerating. Okay. That said, Jared, do we have you yet? Are you there or no?
Yeah, I've been here the whole time.
Can Jared has some difficulties.
Can you hear me?
We have also
Jared is there.
A guest for today. Do we have Tyler? Are you out there, bud?
Hear me? Sean, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm here.
And I'm not sure if I'm on mute.
Can everybody hear Jared? Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I can't hear you. Okay. Give me a sec. Okay, here we go.
Hello, everybody. So what are you present to? In the chat, what are you present to? And Tyler Callagy, what are you present to, man?
I am present to this very early morning for me. This is unusual.
Do you want to be on
Good to
camera
be here with everyone.
or just audio?
Yeah,
Tyler?
yeah, I can be on camera. That's
Okay, cool. Maybe
perfectly
we
good.
can put you on there. Okay, so you can turn on your camera.
Jared, yeah, I got you, bud. I'm sorry. Somehow
There we go.
my speaker is not on. So forgive me all. I am blind and I am relying upon my technical team here in quarantine. That's been amazing and incredible. But we had a small technical defect for this morning, which is called the volume was off. So sorry about that. Jared, what's present for you?
What's present for me is you are bringing some massive Zeus today. I love it. Your focus has never been tighter. This weekend, what you did with a video that many of you will see soon is absolutely fascinating. Fascinating when it comes to conveying the heroic, unique identity of the Real Raw in the most creative way that I could imagine. And Sean said he was gonna like blow my mind, and it was beyond my expectation. It was like an 11 on the scale of 1 to 10. And I'm present to Tyler being here because I love when Tyler is present with us. So welcome, man. It's good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you too. Good to be back.
So this young man, Tyler Callagy, was the person who introduced me at the Unblinded immersion to, I think, to absolute rave reviews. And he is also somebody who's incredibly conservative in his praise of things because he is a person that searches for truth and actually challenges my thinking continuously about everything that I'm doing, why I'm doing it, like what we're up to, is slow to agree that things make sense. Won his high school public speaking award, crushed it on stage, and was one of the most decorated speakers of the Unblinded immersion. He's all of 20 years old, would crush most of us on Jeopardy, and would certainly destroy me. And he is a seeker since the age of probably 3 of absolute factual truth. And his addiction to integrity and truth has only risen to a virtual obsession. So good morning, Tyler Callagy, who happens to also be my son. How are you, pal?
I'm doing great. Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. And so if people are like, oh, nepotism, well, this is like the 180th huddle. And this is Tyler's first appearance. So it's not the 180th, but it's the 100th. It's over 100. And I was thinking that we needed to hear a voice. You go, okay, like a voice of young people. No. A voice of thinking disruption, but also young people. So Ty, What do you think is like present out there in the world? You're in college. Like, what's up with the perspective on Corona and the world from the perspective of the 20 somethings?
Oof. I would say it is super varied at this juncture. It's becoming, more cohesive as it is for everyone. Um, but I would say my age group, along with the older, demographic, the people most at risk, were the slowest probably to get on board with, socially distancing and quarantining for completely different reasons as older people, just because, we are not at risk really. There's isolated, cases of people getting severely ill at my age, but for most of us, it was just kind of an inconvenience
Right.
in our eyes.
So you adopted the mindset, and you were all over me about leaving work. Like you're an adventurer. Like you've
Yes.
been scuba diving with sharks since you're 10. Fair.
Mm-hmm. Fair.
Skiing double black diamonds off of like and things that are called yellow trails, which are like 2.5 black diamonds in Europe at the age of 10 or 11, right? Black diamonds when you were like 5 and 6. So you are not a fear-driven person. Fair?
No, yes, that is fair.
Okay. So why do you think you understood the math and problematic dynamics and risk of Corona before I did, and certainly wildly before most people did? And in fact, there's even some massive personal development speakers who we like and love who are like, this is no big deal and we're overhyping this. And you were like, that's completely absurd. So why do you think you reached those conclusions and people your age, personal development speakers, and other protesters still don't get it? What's the fundamental difference in thinking that you think is at play?
So I think that's actually a great question, because
and if Tyler says I asked a great question, I am incredibly happy, because that is rare, and we have a beautiful relationship, but he is light with his praise. So thank you, Ty. So that.
No problem. Something that's become a phenomenon, actually not become, that's been a phenomenon for all of human history, is that people generally prefer to start with their conclusions and then, confirm things that point to that conclusion, right? Confirmation bias is, a common psychology thing that we talk about. Tony talks about it, and lots of personal development people do. And that's how we have people that believe the earth is flat, right? People like to figure out what feels good for them. So in this case, it was, the coronavirus outbreak is like the flu, right? That was a very easy, comforting thing for people to say, and it wasn't true. And then people went back and they said, well, it's similar in numbers and, yada, yada, yada. And when you looked at all of the numbers together, that was not the story that was told. When you cherry picked data and talked to, people who were not experts on the subject, and when reporters talked to people who are not experts on the subject, it became super easy to lull ourselves into thinking like, oh, everything is going to be fine. And it was clear as the outbreak was approaching the United States, going from, China spreading throughout Southeast Asia, South Korea, Japan, and then moving into Western and Southern Europe, the numbers were just not even remotely similar to a seasonal influenza outbreak. And I saw that very early on, and everyone was like, oh, it's going to be fine, just because people also default to what they've seen before. And when you have something that you haven't seen before, people freak out and quickly seek lies that comfort them. That's the human default.
They seek what? I heard you, but I want you to say again. They seek what that comforts them?
Lies. They seek lies that comfort them.
Right.
And that is part of what we're doing here, unblinding people.
Yeah. And so we talk about integrity. I think people see integrity. I want you to react to this. I think people see integrity as, are you telling the truth or not? Like, did you text that woman and you're married? Did you steal the money or not? Versus the deeper version of integrity, like, is your thinking integrous? Is your thinking integrous? Meaning, if you have a vision, a why, right, that you'd like to get to, and you believe that simply by hoping for it, praying for it, believing in it, manifesting it, watching The Secret, that it's going to just happen, I would find that to be non-integrous thinking. And it's not a morality judgment. It's a utility assessment. Your reaction?
Yeah, totally. No, it's all about utility. It doesn't serve anyone to adopt that kind of, what many call unscientific thinking. Yeah, no, so I totally agree with you there. That's absolutely the case.
So now, let's, because a lot of what goes on for people in all of these dynamics is the interesting challenge of being unaware. And a lot of the studies that Malcolm Gladwell would cite, or Robert Cialdini would cite, or any, Harvard studies and others, would be the challenge that we have in our own self-awareness. So the first step of unblinding is to realize that we all have confirmation bias. We are all good. So right there, what are you thinking and feeling?
Yeah, no, that's absolutely correct. That is 100%. I fall victim to it every single day. We all watch the news that we agree with first. And I think one of the first steps to attempting to overcome that is actively seeking out things that you disagree with and trying to figure out how that makes sense to other people. It's a skill to try to approach the world objectively. We can never approach the world objectively, and anyone who says that they can is lying to themselves and others. But when you start really digging and asking questions about everything you think is true all the time, that's, I think, the best way to go about really unblinding yourself and becoming more self-aware.
Yeah. And just acknowledging Tyler, when he was like 3, somebody would go, "Oh my God, that's a dinosaur." And he would be like, "No, it's an Apatosaurus." Right. And so it's the power of how we think in distinctions. Like Eskimos have 12 words for snow. We've heard that. Many of us have heard that. Many of us haven't, but they do. And it's because it's critical for their survival. And what the outcome of this morning's huddle is to begin to sharpen your thinking, your self-awareness of your own confirmation biases, and also the sharpness of your distinctions about things, because that's what's going to lead to your more money and less time with more magic. Now, tomorrow or the next day, we'll get on and be revved up and have fun and all those things. But revved up and fun is necessary. How we feel about things we create, right? So if Tyler's not in self-mastery, all the highest level of this critical thinking doesn't lead to any action, right? It's brilliant thinking, but it's only a portion of the self-mastery journey. Yes, Ty?
Yeah, no, absolutely. That is 100% true.
Okay. So now let's drop in on one more critical example, and then we want to talk about Grant Cardone and what that all means. So I went to Columbia University. So I walk into Columbia, and I grew up in a blue-collar-ish town in Bergen County. I was born in Jersey City, and we sort of had some more economic stability as I aged into my teenage years. And so I ended up growing up in Bergen County, born in Hudson County, New Jersey, much lower socioeconomic demographic, right? Less money. And when I went to Columbia, I came from this sort of conservative thinking to went to Columbia, and all of a sudden I was questioning everything, and making money was wrong, and people were selfish. So I was influenced by both environments tremendously. And I came to realize over time that the very education of Columbia that was teaching me to question everything included questioning the teachings at Columbia, right? And so a beautiful example of this, and again, everybody buckle up, because as Unblinded Huddles move along, we're going to challenge more and more assumptions, right? And we're not going to necessarily give all the conclusions, but we're going to challenge how we evaluate the dynamic. So when I grew up, the idea of dropping the bomb, right? And for those that don't know, the bomb, meaning atomic bombs on Japan in 1945 was seen as a heroic, valuable, essential innovation that was a wonderful, not a wonderful thing, people died, but critical to the safety and security of the world and the right thing to do. Simply put, the right thing to do. Over time, at Columbia and otherwise, I started to learn like what a horrible thing it was that we dropped the bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki and killed all kinds of people. Now, we are not here to solve for the answer, but if you're in the camp of, oh my God, that was a terrible thing to do, how could we have done that? Because it's not nice to kill 750,000 people, right? But in a confirmation bias, outcome determinative model, which by the way, you might be in if your default is shoot videos, do click funnels, or just sit on a hill and meditate and do ayahuasca, and that's going to help your business, right? I'm not saying it won't. I'm not saying it will, but I'm certainly telling you that you got a long way from like the mountaintop and ayahuasca and meditating to actually manifesting acceleration in your business. So that's what we're attacking using these other models and dynamics, the thinking. So Tyler, somebody goes, you know, Ty, it's ridiculous that they dropped the bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And this is the outgrowth of a conversation Tyler and I had over the weekend. You say what?
I say that is a gross oversimplification of the situation, for sure. Obviously, it was terrible that 200,000 people died in those two nuclear attacks. But
and that was Ty, my level 5 listening. Ty was correcting my number. It wasn't 750,000. Thank you, Tyler. But go ahead.
Yes, I'm glad you picked up on that. I would say that is unfortunate and sad. However, I was watching a video the other day about Operation Downfall, which was going to be which was the code name for the US planned invasion of Japan after we had won in Europe, right? So we won in Europe in the spring of 45, and in the fall, I believe, we were going to invade the mainland of Japan, finally. That didn't happen because in August, we dropped the bombs and they surrendered. The prevailing wisdom, the uncritical perspective is that it was crappy that we dropped the bombs and that was mean, right? The more advanced perspective is that Japan would have surrendered if we just told them about the bombs, which is a much more reasonable perspective. And we can never know for sure because that's not the way we went about things. But given that the emperor was already ready to sacrifice so many people previously, in light of the firebombing of Tokyo, it was razed, completely. It was ashes, right? No factories. It would have been unlikely, I think, in that assessment. And in the projections of casualties from Operation Downfall, it would have been roughly 400,000 to 800,000 American soldiers' lives, and 5 to 10 million Japanese lives lost. So when you say, oh, that's really crappy that we dropped the bombs, yes, but that may have very well saved 6 to 11 million extra human lives in a very short period of time. And the war would have dragged on for potentially 2 more years into 1947. So I'm not saying what is or is not, or was or was not the right decision, But to just broadly blanket statement, binary good or bad, for anything, this is just an example, right, is I think a very dangerous pattern that we fall into.
Yeah. And that same pattern exists in our marketing and our sales. Like, Ty, I wasn't gonna go here real quick. You've witnessed my influencing skill set in every forum imaginable.
Yes.
With umpires, with players, with club coaching kids, courtrooms, human, like waiters, like people making decisions about where we sit, everything is influencing your mind, your critical mind, a superpower.
Without a doubt. It is the only superpower in business, for sure. You know, we're in an arena where I guess physical strength doesn't matter. It is the only one, without a doubt.
Right. And so how unaware do you think people are of the superpower of influence and integrity-based human influence?
Massively. Absolutely massively.
And
I mean, I'm taking, quote unquote intro to business classes, and we're learning how to manually do what Excel does for us, which you could argue that there's merit for, but we have no class on like how to influence people, how to convince people of anything, right? We're being trained to sit in a cubicle and crunch numbers, and like the whole world is blind to that. All of my professors blind to that. And yes, absolutely. Influence is the only superpower for sure in the world of business, and it is completely ignored by everybody.
And why do you
quote unquote business academic sense?
Yeah. So
and everywhere else that I've seen.
And why do you think that is? And do you think it's ignored widely in the world of personal development?
Oh yeah, like, immensely. I think most personal development, frankly, is fantastic for self-mastery in many ways, personal happiness, but it does not give you any reliable way to grow your business, or influence anyone of how you feel, or influence anyone of what is beneficial for you and them. So yeah, totally. What was your question again?
Yeah, why do you think that is?
Why do I think that is? Yeah. So I think it's two things. One is that the language around that just isn't yet developed, right? You need the words to explain what you're thinking, but also people are afraid because most people, including myself, are vastly under-skilled at influencing people, right? It takes immense amounts of practice, and it's easier to just say, if you, learn, what am I even learning in my classes? Like the 4 Ps of marketing, you're going to get a good job, right? That's a lot easier to say than you need to learn how to influence people, especially when you don't even know how to teach influence, right? As a quote unquote expert in business. So I think it's twofold, is that one, people don't know, and that they are afraid of their not knowingness, for sure.
Awesome. What do you think my biggest fear is about Unblinded succeeding as it relates to that very point, and how we conduct huddles, trainings, things in light of what people want versus what they actually need?
I think your biggest fear, if I'm hearing your question correctly, is that people will just want more kind of hype up and more, of what personal development has become in recent years, kind of stepping away from meaningful content and more becoming like a concert. That obviously doesn't apply to, Tony or many of the people that we attend, but what I've seen in other spaces for other people. That's what I'm afraid of, is that people will not be seeking the value because it's just too difficult.
Awesome. Final section, Grant Cardone. So we had some conversations. For those that know or don't know, Grant Cardone released a video that said he was going bankrupt. And then he came out and said that he wasn't going bankrupt. And his justification was, now he has Cardone Capital. It affects thousands and thousands of people. And he has millions of followers. And his message was, well, bad news travels faster than good news. And I am here to prove that. And to be heard amongst like the corona noise, I had to do something crazy like this. And that's why I lied, right? So Ty, putting aside the morality of it, right? Putting aside for a minute the morality of it, right? Do you think that ultimately it makes people happy to make money, not the morality, their own selfishness, in the end, in light of people you've seen and experienced, right? Do you think it makes people happy to lie and make money from it? Do you think ultimately that leads to people's happiness and fulfillment?
No, I do not.
Okay.
For sure.
So what is your assessment, right, of not Grant Cardone, but of the behavior and its impact on all of his followers in terms of and now we'll get to the morality of the behavior. Like, what is your assessment of that? From your seat, you're 20, a lot of your friends would be like, kicks ass, dude. He's got a watch on. He's got the plane. Like, right? Like, yeah, like it's awesome, right? Like, what say you about that?
Yeah. So I think, we watched Chris Cron's video about that last night. I think he had a drop the mic, assessment of the whole situation where it's totally one thing to grab people's attention and tell them what they need to hear, but just outright lying to people and scaring them is never the integrous answer. If you need to resort to that in order to deliver your content, then you are failing and your content is not serving people, clearly. If you need to resort to, I'm bankrupt to even get people's attention, Kanye West style. So that is just not the integrity-filled manner of going about that at all. That's a pretty disgusting way to go about marketing, as Chris Cron said. That causes the loss of respect, especially in a world where people are going through such immense hardship constantly, 24 hours a day, to make a fake sob story to grab the headline. It's gross, just gross.
Yeah. And literally with Unblinded, we're doing the opposite as we're constructing an integrous mechanism of true relationship creation and acceleration, not built around one person, AKA me, right? But built around everybody here expanding their own ecosystem. All right. And actually a final category, Ty, and this is a controversial point potentially, right? And we're not asking, there's no judgment or blame. This is like challenging thinking, because Tyler and I have a lot of incredible memories built around Met games, Jet games, moments of watching. So there's no judgment. But Ty, what's your perspective on professional sports and its role in the lives of most Americans and people around the world? Because Europeans in soccer, et cetera. What's your perspective?
Yeah, so I do not generally have a high opinion of I don't broadly think that sports are a good thing to base your life around, period. That's a very common thing in the world because there's a lot of reasons. It's very simple, but I do not think that making your life about vicariously living through strangers throwing a ball, who you don't know and who don't know you, I don't know if that is a good way of achieving long-term happiness. And I think most psychologists would agree with that, sports in ancient Rome were often used to distract from the real issues, political issues, injustice, slavery, etc. So I do not think broadly that aggressively following professional sports is a good thing. And this whole situation is horrible, but I think it's weeding out a lot of the distractions, quote unquote lies that many people use to distract themselves, whatever that may be. It's not just sports. And I think it's providing a good opportunity for people to really drill down and get back to what is actually fulfilling them. And I think many people are finding that it's not sports, celebrity worship, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. And so finally on this, and everybody, so the real raw role play is literally, and what we're doing with Unblinded, is being designed to solve for these kinds of challenges. Because people do want to be a part of something. So that's why people follow sports teams. And I love sports, right? I've loved sports my entire life. I've learned a bunch. You'd see in my library, there's a Darrell Revis Jets jersey. I love Muhammad Ali. But I would submit that the framework that we are creating here at Unblinded is rooted in those as, yes, we could all use an inspirational story, but I haven't watched a full Jet game in 4 years. I haven't watched 5 minutes of a Jet game actually in 4 years, right? So what we're advocating for is your sense of community and belonging is unblinded. But for the acceleration of you, not me. Like, I'm not a celebrity, period. Don't want to be, right? What I want to be is the person that you look to, and what we at Unblinded are the structure that you do get your sense of belonging and community from, but not in a way where we ask you to do like stuff for us. That we are here to do stuff for you that benefits you, and we win because we benefit you. And we don't win by benefiting you because we're putting out entertaining, interesting, and/or valuable content. We're literally giving you structures to work with to improve yourself, influence, and process mastery to dramatically accelerate the quantity and quality of your ecosystem merging, sales, meetings, and sales. That's what this is, which is, in my humble opinion, has never been created before in human history. We've got a lot of work to do to make sure it delivers on all those promises, but we're at launch, a true launch of the next evolution of it, which will provide all of those things, not just from our programs and what they teach you, from how you can leverage the platform, duplicate and scale what we're doing, and have a place to come back to with people who think in common and wear unblinded sweatshirts, just like you wear a Jet sweatshirt. Not like you'd wear like my picture's not on it. It doesn't say Sean Callagy on the front or the back. And it never will, right? Because it's about a concept. And nor is it a religion, nor are we going to tell you that space aliens actually have delivered you here to the planet, which is what Grant Cardone actually believes in. He's a Scientologist that believes we're aliens, which L. Ron Hubbard didn't even describe, which is totally insane, right? And I'm not attacking anybody's religion, right? I am attacking the reality that the person that they have as the founder didn't even say what they say he said or anything remotely close. And they conceal what they actually believe until the very end. So I am attacking that reality, right? And the reality that the way to gain leverage over people is to gather them and subjugate them for the benefit and will of the hierarchy that leads. That's the exact opposite of what the United States of America was founded on, which is founded on freedom. And Unblinded is founded on the same concept. How do we replicate and grow freedom of choice, opportunity, acceleration, reward merit, and teach people truth? So, Ty, how do you think we're doing on that mission as we take it home?
I think excellent. This is, so exciting to see such a dedication to all of those, ideas and principles, and to have, an area of personal development that's free of ideology, I think. And it's just purely helpful for people in whatever framework they choose to apply it. I think that's beautiful.
Yeah. Pal, I thank you for getting up early this morning by your standard. I know you do most of your thinking up till 2, 3, and 4 in the morning. So yes. I love you. I'm incredibly grateful for you. I'm thrilled that you're doing this from our beach house, right, where we held your first birthday on the roof. And now I'm going to get Dad heartfelt and goddess. I love you, and I'm so proud of you and your independence of thinking, including your resistance to adopt all of the things that I adopt quickly. Personal development-wise, I brought Ty to a Tony Robbins seminar. He was very resistant initially, was still somewhat resistant, and I think has seeing his own critical aspects of it, his own positive aspects of it. And for that, Ty, and challenging everything I say and think, and everybody says and thinks, while building an incredible legacy, life, and dreams is what you're about, Unblinded is about, and we are about. And love you, pal, and thank you for being here this morning.
Oh, love you. No problem. Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Absolutely.
Jared, what's present for you, brother?
Tyler Callagy in the house, buddy. Thank you so much. Tyler, before you leave, make sure you read the chat, because I do believe it's so critical sometimes when you have such mastery, man, in your ability to think and process and organize and communicate, and to have other, we'll call them random people, even though they're not random, they're in our movement, so like family to us, share their sentiments on you and what you shared today and what it means. It should mean a ton to you. So
oh yeah, no, I'll dig through right now. Yeah, absolutely.
In there. Let's give some shout outs, because there's this crowd is staying here, and they're staying because of the value that is taking place. So Peter Swain is in the house. We have Bobby Perry. We have Christopher Cavale in the house, David Newman, Garrett Powell, Grace Singh, Jim Dickinson. We have Krista. We have Nick Champagne. The list goes on and on. I want to make sure, because there's so much chat, that you didn't miss that today is a pretty fun Real Raw, right, Sean? And there was no extra coaching.
No extra coaching.
Extra coaching. We have Mona versus Hala. And Sean, why don't you just speak to the two of these beautiful women and what they mean to you and what this real role play will be today.
Yeah. So we've heard a lot. So the real role play, you'll hear lots more about it, is a cornerstone of unveiling truth and accelerating your business in truth. And you'll be getting a video about the depth of that shortly. So today, two incredible women, Hala Jaludi, incredibly successful trial attorney, personal injury attorney, who's been a judge in the Real Raw, brilliant woman, and Mona Zalatan, who is a wildly successful, was financially free in her 20s, did not grow up with money, figured out how to innovate, influence, sell, and think differently, just like Ty was talking about thinking differently, and has gone on to be an executive salesperson with Salesforce, one of the top 15 salespeople out of 20,000, selling at an enterprise level, multi-million-dollar deals. And both of these people stand for a couple of things. And I want this to land like the way I hope it will land, is that Mona is a super nice, kind, goddess-filled energy, and so is Hala, but they are also Zeus energy armed, decision-making capable, hello to yes machines, both rooted in integrity. Oh, and they're women, right? So I want to make sure we never confuse Zeus energy with men and goddess energy with women. I am loaded with goddess energy. I am loaded with Zeus energy. They are fully accessible both to me as they are to Mona and Hala. And this is going to be an amazing display of what both of these incredible people bring to the table. But it's also, they're representative of not only what we can aspire to, but so many people out there who are women as well as men that have mastery over both goddess and Zeus energy. So that is what is present for me today at 3 p.m., Jared.
Awesome. So the link is in the chat. Please register. It's going to be absolutely extraordinary. In addition, we've spoken about this a bit. We'll be speaking at it again tomorrow, but the 6-week Unblinded Business Acceleration Immersion will officially kick off a week from this Friday. So I believe that is May 8th is when it officially kicks off, but now is the time to register and to get your ecosystem partners to register as well. Tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern time, you'll get an email today. Sean and I are going to be doing a live Zoom meeting. We're expecting at least 500 people present. And during the Zoom meeting tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern time, we're going to talk about the details of the 6-week experience. You know exactly what's going to happen on a week-by-week basis. We're going to talk about why 9, like why having 9 ecosystem partners present with you for this immersion is in direct service to you, and how it's going to accelerate your life and your business and their lives and their businesses. And we're going to teach you how to go about getting those 9, which by itself is going to be an extraordinary training. So make sure that you register. It's www.unblindedbusinessaccelerator.com. This whole immersion is free. Like, it's the 6-week experience that's free. And it's every week. Sean and I are going live each Friday for 90 minutes with a presentation of trainings, practical, tactical, do this week, do this week. All of the modules are archived in the Unblinded Academy, which you'll have access to. We'll transcribe them. There's a community there. It's gonna be off the charts. Sean, what are you present to for the final time with the Unblinded Business Accelerator?
I am present to that it is the disruption, the key breakthrough for acceleration, predictable acceleration of ecosystem merging acceleration equals more money, less time, more magic that has ever been created in history. And the one that has integrity, sustainability, and balance for those that are committed to influence mastery. That's what I'm present to. Final. Vivian Guzman, we had some little technical disruptions this morning. We'll be on the balance of the week, co-hosting the morning huddle as we continue to expand and accelerate access to examples of men and women, younger and older, and everywhere in between. Tyler today, Vivian tomorrow, holding access, acceleration, and uniqueness each and every day. For those of you that was your first day, this has been a lengthy one. Usually it's 30 minutes. We are going to have esoteric, deep thinking discussions. We'll have yelling, screaming, on fire, locker room style discussions. We will deliver fun, aspirational goddess and Zeus energy in balance regularly and continuously every day in this huddle as the source for starting your day over the news, over other things besides your prayer, your meditation, your focus, your decision making. This is the source of how to get everything going. Jared, Tyler, thank you so much. Mona, Hala, ready to rock and roll leader today. Thanks everybody. If it's your first day, don't make it be your last. Everybody else out there, be bringing people to the huddle and the accelerator because that's how you will accelerate your ecosystem value. I'm Sean Callagy. Thanks.
Now it's time to break through and crush fear and distortion. What is the one zone action step that will help you most today to make more money in less time and with more magic and contribute value to the unblinded ecosystem? After you crush it, then head over to our private Facebook community at www.unblindedmovement.com to share your big win for the day. If you feel great about the Unblinded Huddle, please share your win for today and any questions you may have for us, along with a 5-star review so we can reach more like-minded people like you. And if you have not already subscribed, please visit www.unblindedhuddle.com to be part of our live ecosystem audience for each morning huddle so that we can help you see what you don't see about the fun, excitement, and magic of exponentially growing your sales.